I have to clear some Fukushima nuclear water dump myths up. This is your favorite half Chinese. There seems to be an understanding that among some people that it is only about tritium, but that is not the case at all. Many people also compare it to normal water that has been used to cool down reactors. That is also not something you can do. It's totally false. So this is how it normally should go. As you can see, the radioactivity is protected in some other capsules so the water doesn't come into direct contact with that substances. Now this one is Fukushima. As we can see here, the water has been in direct contact with the radioactive parts. That makes it so different and so much more dangerous. Now I will discuss the parts it is about, and after that we will discuss the report. So we will have a very clear understanding why it is so dangerous and what is going on. The substances that are never talked about. Carbon-14 or radiocarbon is a radioactive isotope of carbon with an atomic nucleus containing 6 protons and 8 neutrons. In high concentrations, carbon-14 can be dangerous because it is a form of ionizing radiation. Ionizing radiation can cause damage to living cells and tissues, which can lead to cancer and other health problems. Strontium-90 is a radioactive isotope of strontium produced by nuclear fission with a half-life of 28.8 years. It undergoes decay into yttrium with a decay energy of 0.546 MeV, whatever it means. Strontium-90 has applications in medicine and industry and is an isotope of concern in fallout from nuclear weapons testing, and nuclear accidents. Strontium-90 is considered a cancer-causing substance because it damages the genetic material DNA in cells. In one geographical location near a nuclear weapons plant, an increase in leukemia, a form of cancer, was reported in people who swallowed a large amount of strontium-90 in water, like the sea. Caesium-137 or radiocaesium is a radioactive isotope of caesium that is formed as one of the more common fission products by the nuclear fission of uranium-235 and other fissionable isotopes in nuclear reactors and nuclear weapons. While the body CS-137 poses a health hazard from both beta and gamma radiation, and the main health concern is associated with the increased likelihood of inducing cancer. High levels of CS-137 in or near your body can cause nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, bleeding, coma, or death. Cobalt-60 is a synthetic radioactive isotope of cobalt with a half-life of yada yada yada. It's produced artificially in nuclear reactors because it decays by gamma radiation. External exposure to large sources of CO60 can cause skin burns, acute radiation sickness, or death. Most CO60 that is ingested is excreted in the feces. However, a small amount is absorbed by the liver, kidneys, and bones. Now all of these cause cancer and will pass from generation to generation. Now in the report, second page, neither the IAEA nor its member states assume any responsibility for consequences which may arise from its use. That is a disclaimer. Now, why would they do that? Just ask yourself. We will soon find it out. Now, on the page of the Director General's foreword, finally, I would like to emphasize that the release of the treated water stored at the Fukushima Daiichi Power Station is a national decision by the government of Japan, and that this report is neither a recommendation nor an endorsement of that policy, which means that Japan has made this decision solely on its own. Page 15. The legal and regulatory framework established in Japan. TEPCO has the prime responsibility for the safety of the discharge of the ALPS treated water from FDNPS. TEPCO is Tokyo Electric Power Company. That means there is no other supervision other than a Japanese company, or nobody else wants to take responsibility. And why not? It is so safe. As they say, not me. On page 17, the NRA, the Nuclear Regulation Authority of Japan, has been established, an independent regulatory body with responsibilities that include responsibility for the regulatory control of the TEPCO's facilities and activities for the discharge of ALPS treated water. Now, the Nuclear Regulatory Authority, as we can see, is also a Japanese company, so we only should trust them now. On page 19, we find the request of the government of Japan to the IAEA to review the application of relevant international safety standards to the discharge of ALPS treated water into the sea was submitted after the government's decision was made. Therefore, the scope of the current IAEA safety review did not include an assessment of the details of the justification process followed by the government of Japan. And this kinda says it all. So let there be no confusion. Japan did this all on its own, but wants you to think that it also been regulated and tested and researched by other third parties. Now, these parties state that that is not the case. The government of Japan has the final decision-making authority to determine how to handle the treated water and how that decision is justified. Again, no other countries or independent organizations are involved. It is important to mention that the justification decisions goes far beyond the scope of radiation protection and also involves other considerations, many of which are not technical in nature, such as economic and societal factors, and therefore it is not for the IAEA to comment on and analyze the non-technical aspects of this decision. So in short, the IAEA says we do not want to have any blame because this has gone not through us, but solely through Japan. And we ourselves are totally clueless what really is going on because we did not conduct any of the tests, and the only data we have was provided by Japan. So the question is, will you trust Japan when they were not open at all? It is time to think very deep and hard, as this might eventually start a natural disaster of a scope that we have never seen before. Now, who would benefit from this? If the fish of Asia will not be sold because people are scared or it's radioactive, who will the people buy their seafood from, like prawns and all those kind of things? Probably the USA and some other countries. And then not to mention the enormous tension it creates in the region. And they are awfully quiet about this disaster, if we can call it that, which to my ears is literally screaming guilty. But I'm not like them, so I will not accuse them with only circumstantial evidence. I fight against the BS, not using it like the usual suspects. Please comment, let me know what you think of it, and please like it and share, and if you have not yet, then please follow. This was your favorite half Chinese, and have a great day as always.